Oh, hello. Hello, human beings. All right. I got to wait at least 10 seconds for this thing to officially be started. Okay, should be working. Okay. Oh, I just ran in the house. I'm hot. I got my little wind-up fan here, though. Check it out. This thing great. This is a little wind-up fan. Oh, it just makes a little breeze. I'm not sure how long it goes. This is my third version. And with the new propeller on it, it goes for at least 12 minutes because I was timing it yesterday. And then I got distracted with something else, so I don't know when it actually stopped. But over 12 minutes. Anyway, oh, it's cooling me off right now. So what am I going to talk about today? Important, exciting stuff. Like, this is silly. Okay, so many times over the years, I've talked about how I think confidence is overrated. And like, I think confidence should just be a byproduct of competence. Like when you're good at something, you're like, yeah, okay, I can do this. I know how to do it, right? But then people always say, no, you got to have confidence. You got to show confidence. Confidence is everything. You got to show all this confidence. All right, that's how you get the chicks. That's how you get a promotion. You got to come in there with your guns ablazing. Confidence. Yeah, I can do anything. Confidence. Oh, like arrogance, right? And, people are like, oh my gosh, Jaimie, you're out of your mind. You don't know how important confidence is. And I'm always like, no, confidence is not as important as competence. Competence is way more important. In fact, confidence should just be a side effect. You should have to have competence before you have confidence, and you should have confidence before you show confidence, for sure. Right? Oh man. But and one of the big problems with that is that now today there's all these people showing all this confidence. So in the past, if there were like 50 dudes in front of you and you were like, okay, I need someone who knows how to do this. 2 dudes would know how to do it and they'd be like, yeah, I can do this. And the other guy would be like, yeah, I can do this. Today, like 47 of them will be like, yeah, I know how to do that, but only 2 of them know how to. So then you gotta weed through them and do all, oh my God, tediousness, right? Okay, plus, when you're trying to get something done, when you're trying to accomplish something, confidence isn't gonna help you. A little bit of confidence, so you're not like too afraid or whatever, but like overconfidence, this confidence that comes before competence, that's not useful at all. Like all the best stuff I've done in my life, I was not sure if I could do it. Like all the best stuff. Confidence takes a back seat to just trying to figure it out. Because when you're like real confident in something, it's like then your mind can wander. You're like, I got this under control. And that's when you start cutting your fingers off on the table saw or falling off the roof or whatever. But when you're like not really sure you can do it and your confidence isn't too high, that's when you really pay attention and can do an amazing job and figure out super cool stuff. Anyway, I've said all this before. And this week, I came up with I came up against the most amazing reason that confidence should not be expressed without competence. That confidence has just gotten blown out of control and is ridiculous. And what happened is I came up against some wokesters, the woke people who are supremely confident. They know what they're talking about, and they know how wrong you are, and they have no evidence whatsoever, but they have angry emotions, and they know they're right, and they know you're wrong, and they don't want to listen to anything because they've already got supreme confidence that they are correct. And it's like, oh my God, it's comical. It's totally ridiculous. But these people are insane, and there are a shitload of them. Like, it's not like 1 or 2 people here and there. There are tons of them, just dragging our society like right down into destruction. And it makes me start thinking, well, maybe I should just hide out on my island and just cut myself off from the rest of the world and let it all fall apart and just accept that that's the way it is. Anyway. So very, very, very silly stuff going on there. Although, kind of also scary, but like, I mean, what can you do other than just like laugh at it? And one of the problems with this thing, this whole wokester culture where these woke warriors are just like ready to go all the time. They shut down like every conversation just with their anger and their aggression. Like you say one wrong word and they're just in there like blah 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 blah. And then so many people are not speaking up like they should because they're like, I better not say something because I say one wrong word, I'm gonna get my head chewed off. So forget it's amazingly effective. This whole angry, insane, woke people like culture, it's amazing how effective it is at just shutting down people. Anyway, all right, what else is going on here? Okay, so I've been working on my second floor, right up here. You can see here's the edge. Wait, right here's the edge of the second floor currently. Yeah, that it's a circle all the way around, right? So for anyone who watches my videos, you already know what I'm doing up there. I've got maybe I can show it a little bit. It's too dark already. Well, on my second floor there, I've got a floor all the way around the outside, and there's a big hole in the middle, and there's a railing so kids don't fall off or whatever. But it's like it's like 2.5 meter wide, like track going all the way around the house. And the house is big enough that you can run around the track up there. It's pretty good. But I can't go full speed, so because it's not banked. So I'm banking the outer like 1.5 feet, like 0.5 meter ish. So I'm banking it up at 30 degrees. And I cut a bunch of strips. I got videos of this, don't worry, I'll put them up. But I started cutting strips to like laminate in this curved way because I can't put any big boards because they won't curve right. So I got to put like strips that are thin enough that I can force them to bend. And the first one, it was kind of hard to bend it into shape. But then I kind of figured out the technique, and now it is going super fast. It's going super fast to the point where I was like, whoa, I gotta stop because I'm like starting to cover up part of the wall on the second floor, which is not totally spackled. Like down here, can't really see it. My house is concrete, styrocrete, and concrete and styrocrete. So a lot of the walls on the interior part when I built the house were just styrocrete, so it was all rough, right? So then I spackle over that to make it nice and smooth-ish, finish it off, whatever. But I haven't done the whole second floor yet. I've only done half of it. But this banked track is covering part of the wall because it comes up, right? So this second story wall is there, and this track goes up. So I started putting the track in. It started going so fast, I could probably get it done in a few days. But I was like, whoa, I better stop this because I got to spackle these walls first, man. Plus, I think I'm going to run out of wood strips. Anyway, so a few days ago, I got into my sand bucket over here and used the rest of my sand to spackle 2 more like square sections. And on every 2.5 feet of floor, there are like 48 of these square sections all the way around the house. It's a pretty big friggin' house, right? So I got 2 more of these floor sections or square sections spackled with my remaining sand. And at that point, I'm like, well, I'm out of sand. Still have cement and water, but I need the sand too, so I can make the spackle the things. And I was like, crap, I don't need that much sand. If I order sand, it's only worth it if I get like a whole boatload, which is 150 buckets. I could go get some, but it's gonna take like all day to go get some. So I was like, wait a minute. I got this little beach over here, right? It's kind of a nice little beach. Most of my island has mangroves all around it, which is great because mangroves protect the land, stop erosion, protect you from waves coming in and eroding the land and everything. But there's this one section over here where I've got a nice little beach, like little beach, big enough for me and my kids to go swimming and stuff. Not big enough for like tourists to come hang out. And I'm like, well, that beach could use some more sand because the island up behind the beach, when the waves come in, the waves hit the island and erode it. So if the more sand I get on that beach, the higher the sand level gets, the more protected the land is and the less it erodes. So I'm like, all right, let me just order 300 buckets of sand and just put them on the beach, and I'll use whatever I need to do the construction, whatever is left, whatever stays on the beach, totally cool, to protect the island. So yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. They came with two giant boat loads of sand. So I spent, I don't know how long it was, a while, unloading sand. My muscles, I can still feel it in my muscles. Yeah, I can still feel my muscles for sure. Oh, I was also digging yesterday, so I got a little tired, which is nice to get like totally worn out once in a while. Well, let me just move my light here. I know it's getting a little darker. I usually plan to start my lives at 5, of course. It usually ends up being earlier or later. Anyway, so I got all this sand yesterday, and then I was like, oh good, now I can start doing spackling again. But I'm like, I don't know, I better check this sand. So I pick some up and sniff it, and I'm like, it smells like the ocean. That means it's got salt in it. I don't want to use salty sand for my spackling, which may not be a problem. I'm not sure if it's totally a problem. Someone told me before on one of these lives, actually, that his grandma's house was made with salty sand. So it's a concrete house made with there's salt in it. And the only problem with it is that paint doesn't stick. Because it kind of, like anyone who lives in a humid environment knows that if you leave salt out, it gets wet, right? So the walls kind of sweat and paint won't stick. So, but other than that, it was fine. And now I'm wondering if the walls are sweating from the salt in them, is the salt coming out when the wall is sweating? Or is this like an indefinite way of just condensing water? Like, could you collect water with like a salt water concrete wall? Like, would it just continually like sweat? Or does the salt come out of it? In which case the salt would eventually get used up and then it would just be a normal. Well, now I'm wondering. Anyway, so right now I'm at the point where I'm waiting for it to rain to rinse out my sand so I can get my sand and spackle the walls so I can get that done and then finish banking the floor. That's what's going on in my house right now. Oh, and I'm also playing with some 3D printing stuff and blah, blah, blah. It might rain tonight. Hopefully it does, because I'm totally ready to spackle. I got more strips of wood to put in, and I have a bunch of strips of wood that I cut off. They were like extra pieces when I was building the floor, so I have a whole bunch of cutoffs from that. But I have to run them through the planer to get them to the right height, and that goes pretty fast. Once I figured out the technique, it goes really fast and everything. And putting the floor together goes really fast too. I am going to have to get some more screws because I'm running out of screws. But other than that, it's going pretty well. Sorry, I'm just putting up a little reflector, my professional lighting reflector thing. It's a piece of styrofoam. Anyway, well, let's see what's going on with you guys. All right, what do we got here? Mr. Landfill, hello. What's going on, man? Got the phone position figured out, it appears. Oh, yeah, Lambo drives Zambo. So last week when I actually have a tablet, not a phone. I don't own a phone. I love not having a phone. Because I was just at someone else's house and their phone kept bling, 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 bling. And I just kept thinking, oh, I'm so glad I don't have a phone. Anyway, I have a tablet. So last week when I was trying to do this live, I got this error message that says my thing is tilted the wrong way, even though it looked right. So I tilted it the wrong way, but then I was sideways, but then it didn't give me the error message. Anyway, the error message is gone now. So it looks like everything is fine. Dave Rubino, hello, what's going on? Hail Dynamics, what's up? Womp womp. Jaimie, society is in a mass delusion of consumerism and politics. Dude, I don't even know what to call it. like I feel like you could just say society isn't a mass delusion and just leave it there and just fill in the other 500 blanks yourself. Just, yeah, delusional about so many things. This is crazy. Nice work, Jaimie. You flippin' legend. Yeah, I don't know what I did, but excellent. Yeah, I'm a flippin' legend for doing something nice. I don't know what it was, but it was pretty nice. Christopher says, were you talking about the UK? Honestly, it's crazy. Politicians just don't listen and lie. Oh, I mean, you could fill in the UK. You could make the UK a blank, fill in many other countries. So, I mean, politicians just don't listen and lie. Okay, yeah, that's the standard that has been accepted, which is insane. It is so insane that people have accepted that. Like, to have a society that works, once a politician lies, people should be freaking rioting in the streets and tearing their house down and kicking them out of office and saying, no, you're out, that's it. But no, it's like, oh yeah, politicians just lie and don't listen to us, don't care. Well, that's just politicians. That's just the way they are. Let's laugh about it and let them ruin our lives and just have a laugh. No, people should be like seriously, like so angry that they're doing something about it. Whatever. I always feel like kind of good when I see that, you know, in some countries, they'll have people like marching in the streets on the Capitol building, yelling at them, like making politicians like change things, like making them listen, because it's just become way too acceptable for people in leadership positions to lie and cheat and steal and all this stuff. Like all the people in authoritative positions. I hate authoritative positions. Yes, I have a problem with authority. But yeah, like all the people in leadership roles today, first, they're authoritarian leadership roles, which I don't think work. Just inherent problems with that. I think leadership roles should be like exemplary, like you should be a good example, and people follow you because they look up to you because you're a good example. But today we just have all the leaders are in their leadership positions because of some kind of authority that makes you listen to them, which is stupid. And they're just lying, cheating, and stealing. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I was not talking about the UK, but yes, the UK too. Rusty Shackelford, Jaimie, if you teach the kids how to make cordwood houses with cut logs and mortar, they can make hobbit houses all over your island. Well, they could, but they could also do it without cordwood. I would be concerned about using wood to build a house, because this is an environment that has termites and mold and just things that will destroy wood. Like people build lots of wood houses here, and they're good for like 10 or 15 years, and then they just let the jungle take it and just build a new house. And I don't know if you've ever seen any of the videos. I don't do that many of these, but like any of the videos where I'm just driving around the area in a boat, you'll see like houses on stilts. And there will be like a really nice house on stilts. And right beside it, there's one that's kind of dilapidated. And then right beside that, there's like some posts and maybe a little bit of remnants of a house, because that's the way it goes. It's like, this house is starting to fall apart. Let's make a new one and just let that one just die. And then when this one starts, let's make a new one. And they last like a decade or two, like maybe 2 decades is probably stretching it. But they just keep remaking houses. So if you want anything that lasts, particularly if it's like underground or anything, I think the styrocrete seems to be really good. Concrete in general is good. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, let's see. Oh, someone's got to delete a message. Was that a wokester? Mr. Landfill? Was that a woke guy? Was he coming at me? Was he coming at me with his confidence? Oh, man. When are you going to build another spider? Oh, man. I don't know. I need to finish some other stuff, but I'm kind of dying to do one. I mean, I was saying last week, someone asked about, when am I going to build a new giant robot or something, but I think the next one I want to build is another spider tank, just because the design has been refined so much. I feel like I have one more set of refinements. There's like one more, maybe one or two, but there's like one kind of significant refinement I want to add to the design. But everything else is like it's gone through significant refinement. Like, it's really good. And I would like to build kind of a big one that I can just drive around and have fun in. And then after that, I'll want to build something more experimental and, kind of start a new design of something from scratch. Because there's a lot of different things that I've built, like little walking robot-y animals and stuff. Like if you watch the Adventure Builder movie that I made, there's clips of a whole bunch of like walking robot-y things in there that I've built throughout the years. And that's like maybe a third of them, And then I have a whole bunch of other ideas of things that I haven't actually built prototypes of or anything. It's just in my head so far. So, but I came here and started a new life. I gotta get a bunch of things kind of worked out. I definitely need to finish the second floor, probably the third floor, get my roof tiles done, kind of get my house wrapped up before I can really get hardcore into some cool, like, giant robot kind of stuff. Yeah. Rusty Shackelford says, Jaimie, I don't have the skill for aircrete. Would I be better making pre-made slabs of concrete reinforced with rebar lath, or at that point should I just frame and pour a concrete wall? Yeah, you may as well just pour a concrete wall. Although if you want to do like styrocrete, it's pretty easy. You don't really need any skill for that. Although, I mean, the thing with styrocrete is that it's lighter and easier to work with and stuff just because of the weight. But it also has less strength. And it does give you a little bit of flexibility, like a little more than concrete. But yeah, I mean, it never, like, pouring a concrete wall is always a good option, totally works. Right, says the train tunnels under the Hudson are having some huge problems from the salt from the hurricane flooding a few years ago. Really? But I'm not a concretologist. So the tunnels under the Hudson, this is the Hudson River. The Hudson is beside Manhattan, if I remember. Is it the one that goes next to Queens? Or wait, I haven't been up there in so long. Anyway, it's one of those rivers, and there's a tunnel under it. And I guess, yeah, salt water got in there, and it's messing up the concrete. Well, that's unfortunate. Hopefully they figure that out. God, what a mess. Trying to repair concrete once it's kind of coming apart. Oof, that's not fun. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Offer J. Who's Offer J? I don't know. Torches and pitchforks, yeah. Tar and feathers, not a wokester. Mr. Landfill, I would be surprised if you told me you were a wokester. Yeah, I'm glad you're not a wokester. Oh. Rusty Shackelford says, Jaimie, don't feel like you're blabbing. I love it when you go in depth into material quality and go all engineer mode. Well, if you have any questions, please ask me some questions and I will go in depth as much as you want. Yeah, I mean, if I have anything to go in depth about. Dave says there's houses here in Ireland from mud, ash, hay, and cow manure. Hold on, let me just put that in my brain. Mud, ash, hay, and cow manure that are hundreds of years old and still lived in. Okay, I want to know. I want to know if they get wet. Like, do the roofs have to overhang way over to protect the walls? Like if you do that, mud, ash, hay, and cow manure, the ash might make it strong enough to be able to handle some water. But I feel like a hard rain might start chipping away at it. Yeah, does it have to be protected from rain? Hopefully Dave can throw in an answer in there somewhere. If you could go back in time and tell 20-year-old Jaimie 3 advices, what would those be? Don't waste your time with university. See, here's the problem. Okay, here's the problem. I mean, yeah, don't waste your time going to university. That was such a crock of crap. Waste of time and money. Oh, there's so many. Okay. I have kids, so I can't go back in time and change anything because then I wouldn't have my kids. And I love my kids more than I love the life I could have if I changed it. But if you were like to guarantee that I would still have the same kids, even if I changed something in the past, let's see, is there anything else I'd want to make sure I can keep? Yeah, I don't know. I'd want to change a bunch of stuff. It's a bunch of stuff that would change my kids. I can't go back. Can't do it, man. Can't do it. Can't go back because it would change my kids. And I love those kids. Oh my God, I love my kids. They're just amazing. All right, let me put aside anything that would change my kids, and then I would need some sort of like universal guarantee that I'm going to get my kids still, the same kids. Yeah, I tell myself don't waste your time with university. Just trust yourself and don't listen to anyone. Because I already had the idea that maybe I shouldn't be listening to any of these people because I don't really understand what they're talking about. Like I kind of have ideas of what I think I should be doing. And it took me a while to get to the point where I really was just like, all right, forget all this stuff I'm being told what to do. I'm just going to do what I think. I think if that happened like way sooner, I could have skipped over a lot of frustrations and stuff. Although a lot of that stuff also taught me things. So I don't know. It's a really hard question to answer. Like, what would you change if you go back? Like anything, if I go back and change things, it would change me. And well, I can't change myself. I might screw it up and come out worse. I don't know. I'd have to really think about that. I might just not do it, Anyway, if you go back in time and tell 20-year-old Jaimie 3 advices, what would those be? Yeah, that's a tough one. I feel like I could answer that question better if I was being told, or if I was being asked, what advice would I give people now who are my age when I was 20 years ago? Yeah. So some of the things I tell my kids, I tell my kids a lot of things. Like one of the major things is like trust your judgment more than anything else. It doesn't mean you don't listen to anyone else, but ultimately the last person who you listen to should be yourself. Unless you're with a partner that you trust, and then you negotiate with them in whatever way to figure out what to do. But like, it's really important to listen to yourself and not listen to the wokesters. Don't listen to the wokesters for sure. Don't listen to the internet or the TV or the radio or all this propaganda garbage telling you what you should be doing. Because what I found in my life is that all the stuff that I thought when I was a kid turned out to be the stuff that I now think was right. So when I was growing up as a kid, I'm not gonna try to come up with a bunch of examples because it'll just get into all kinds of craziness. But okay, here's one example. I guess I am getting into examples. I went camping with my dad and my brother. We went camping a few times. Those were like the best times of my childhood when I went camping with my dad. Those are totally some of the best times because we just got away from all the craziness, And one day I said to my dad, I think we were like sitting around the fire or something, and we just had a great day of like doing stuff and swimming and carving little wood things out of crap we found on the ground and just enjoying our day, I said to my dad, why don't we just live like this? Like, why don't we just do this, instead of that thing in the city where we're just like trapped and like have no freedom, and we can't be creative, we can't express ourselves. And I was like a little kid when I was asking my dad this, like 8 years old or something. And he gave me the whole, well, you grow up, you got to be responsible, get a job, and blah blah blah. When you grow up, you're gonna want different things. You're gonna want the house with the swimming pool and the mortgage and the blah blah blah. And I was well, and one of the big things he said is, you can't just live like this because how are you going to get money? And I was like, yeah, but like living out in the woods would cost so much less than living in the city in some house in some expensive neighborhood. And for like you can make it work. And my dad was like, no, what are you talking about? But it turns out that now I think that was totally the right thing. I mean, at least for me. I can't speak for everyone, but like I feel like my life here, living in the wilderness, is so much better than when I was living in the suburbs in Canada, or when I was in the States living in a city. Or it's just, so many of the horrible things are taken out. Like, and one of the huge ones is just bills. Like, I have almost no bills. The internet is the only thing my only recurring payment, and then food. And anything else I'm buying is not necessary stuff. Like, I buy things for projects and stuff, but it's not like necessary for my survival. But like for my survival, like my living costs are so low that I can make videos on YouTube and live on that, and not even make videos where I'm trying to make money. I can make videos where I'm saying the things that I actually really think are important and think are valuable, to our society and stuff, instead of just having to make whatever video will make money because the rent's due, or because my electric bill's coming in, or I have to pay this tax or that thing or whatever, So yeah, just the freedom of this kind of lifestyle is awesome. And that's what I thought when I was a kid. And I was told over and over, no, you don't know what you're talking about. It's going to be horrible and wrong. You're going to freeze and die and be bitten by a scorpion. You're going to die. Everything's terrible. But yeah, it's pretty much exactly what I thought it would be when I was a kid. So trust yourself. Don't listen to other people too much. Dragon scale roof tiles. Yeah, I want to get those done. Yeah, I want to cross a bunch of stuff off my list, Yeah, Skyrocrete, you mean Styrocrete? Seems like the way to go. Another one I was looking at was cob houses, concrete and hay bales. Yeah, again with the hay bales, at least in this environment, one crack in the concrete and animal like insects get into the hay, and that's disaster. That's what I'd be concerned about, because they'll eat the hay. They won't eat the styrofoam, Mr. Landfill says the guy I banned was not a wokester, just a jerk. Yeah, get those jerks out of there. Beauty, man. Thanks. Dave says it's mulched. Okay, this is about the houses in Ireland. What was it? Mud, ash, cow poop, and I gotta scroll up. Oh man, where was it? Okay, houses in Ireland from mud, ash, hay, and cow poo. Right, okay. Mud, ash, hay, and cow poo. So it's mulched, doesn't have foundations. So if the water table is high, it will suck up moisture. Mud mortar will turn up in a search. Yeah. But I'm just wondering, like, could I do that here? This is a pretty hot, humid environment. It's not like super humid, but it's definitely hot and humid, or at least warm and humid. And the rain, when it rains, sometimes, like tropical rainstorms are just like buckets of water coming down. Mud houses are like a big thing in desert places, but not so much in wetter places. But Ireland's kind of wet, right? I don't know. Yeah, I'd be interested to see the roofs on those. Is it like just a big roof that completely blocks the walls so they never face the rain? One thumbs up. Me. Well, thanks, Dave Rubino. Cyrus says, long time. How you doing? I think I'm doing all right. I think I'm pretty good overall. Yeah, pretty good. I'm a little hot. I'm going to turn my fan on again. A kid-powered ceiling fan in the dome. A big kid or Jaimie-sized weight on a rope, geared like a pendulum clock. Ride the rope down to raise the weight. Yeah, I'm totally thinking about that. So, you know, I've been playing around with these wind-up fans. Here's my new propeller blade, which is pretty sweet. So I've been playing with these propeller fans, but yeah, I've also definitely thought about putting ceiling fans in here and using the height. You know, it's a 4-story building, so if I hang a weight all the way up from the 4th story ceiling, you know, you can get a lot of energy, have something going for quite a while with that. But I don't want to start building something into the house until I kind of get more of the house worked out, because I might just have to end up tearing it apart, you know. Let's see. John says, Jaimie, you're on just one of the timelines of the multiverse. If you contact the past, you'd be just creating another timeline. You're fine, go for it. Yeah, but then am I in that timeline, or do I come back to this one? So I can go back. Are you saying I can go back 20 years, tell myself advice, that Jaimie will slide, you know, kind of sideways into another timeline, and I'll go back to mine so that I can give that guy a better future? Well, then I'd probably have some good advice for him. But I would really want to think about it. Yeah, one of the major things would be trust yourself. Trust yourself more than anyone else. Let's see. Thumbs up never updates much reload to get accurate number. Oh, okay. I see. Thanks, Mr. Landfill. Mr. Landfill says thumbs up. Rusty Shackleford says, Jaimie, you should really consider milk sheep to supplement calories and protein and fat. You can make butter and cheese. Go engineer mode on the caloric efficiency of sheep or goats. You'll thrive more. Well, yeah, I do want to get some milking animals. I don't know. I'm not ready for animals yet. But at some point, I definitely want to get animals going. I might start with bees. Chickens, I know how to do chickens. They're not that hard to do. Do it, Martin, says Jaimie, brother. I'm a Boer from South Africa. I have seen my realm fully collapse. I too enjoy the bush. The thing is, Jaimie, when you go to town, it is better that town still exists. It is nice that town exists. Yes, I definitely want town to keep existing. I mean, I don't want society to collapse at all. People like there are a lot of people who talk about, yeah, let it all fall down. I don't think they've really thought about what it's going to be like. Like, there's going to be some rough situations. Like, it's going to be dangerous if things fall apart. And there's so many people, like all these wokesters, who are like dead set on just tearing the place apart, because I don't know what's going on inside their heads. Well, no, I guess I do. They're just like reacting to all this propaganda. But then the people pushing the propaganda, I guess they're just trying to make money, not thinking about the world they're destroying. Or maybe they're trying to destroy it because they're aliens and they're like, yeah, let's wreck it as much as we can before we go invade, or I don't know. Let's just move on. Sire Pan-Fried says, I've got to watch this later, but I want to give to the audience right now, and Jaimie too, an imaginary motivation potion. Do your best in everything you do. I relearned this in my day today. Gotta go by. Sire Pan-Fried, I hope you're doing well and whatever you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, but you're probably not here right now. So I hope you get magical extra motivation to do whatever you're doing too. Excellent. Rodents enjoy straw very much, Do It says. Yes. Man, South Africa, yeah, that place is at a rough time. Whew. I haven't paid attention to what's going on in South Africa for a while, but I had some South African friends, so I got regular reports for a while. Man, rough place. Let's see. Rusty Shackelford says at Do It, they complement each other. The city folk need the rural farmers for food and meat. I know the feeling you describe. South Africa has been destroyed from the glory it once had. Yeah, I feel like, don't get me started into, I don't feel like cities are needed. I always get a lot of crap when I say that, but I really don't think cities are needed. Not the giant monsters that we have today. They just turn into resource destroyers. They like convert everything into garbage at incredible rates. But whatever. I mean, and when I talk about cities, there aren't any like major cities around me. It's all like little towns and stuff. Although there's one, maybe two. There are a couple around that I think are a little too developed. But okay, this is the way I think of it. I think a city's too big once you can't find parking. Like once you have to like search for parking and pay for it, I think the city's too big. Oh man. Let's see. Sam says, "Wow, man, you've got a really cool self-sufficient setup going. This is exactly what I want to do as soon as XRP, I don't know what that means, gets adopted as a bridge reserve currency. Whew, build an epic bunker like off the grid crib." I don't know what XRP is. Can you grow bamboo? I am growing bamboo. I have I planted this little clump of bamboo years ago. I don't know, several years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know. But it is, at one point, it looked like it died, and I kind of forgot about it. But in the last year, it's starting to grow. So I don't know. Well, we'll see how that goes. Maybe I should transplant it to a better spot. It's kind of near the seawater, which might be a problem for it. Probably a problem for it. What's the usual ocean temperature where you're at? I don't know, but it's pretty warm. Like I can jump in the ocean. I can jump in the ocean to cool off, but I have to stay a while in the water to cool off. And when I jump in the water, I don't get that, that cold feeling when you jump in. Like I grew up in Canada, you jump in the water, it's like, I don't get that at all here. It's kind of like getting into a bathtub. But it's cool enough that on most days I can get in it and swim around and float for a little bit, and my body temperature will get lower. I'll cool off, but I don't know. I don't really know what the temperature is. Phil says, just curious if it's possible to put some tubing in the ocean and radiator with a fan in the house to cool it down. Yeah, I don't think it would do much because the ocean is pretty warm. Mr. Yanarobi says, I cannot find a way to live without a car for work. Okay. I think that's probably an incorrect statement. I bet, is this a challenge? Are you saying this is impossible for you to do? I think you could figure out a way to live without a car for work if you really wanted to. I'm not sure why you're telling me that. Do you want to find a way to live without a car for work? I'm sure there's a way to do it. Oops. Let me just break everything. Oh, earthquake. Okay. Martin, Do It Martins, who's in South Africa, says, we serve other nations now. We are ghosts. Man, that's rough. I feel like a lot of people kind of feel like that. Like they're, like a lot of the civilization we have today it's almost like ghost civilization. Like it's dying and just kind of on its way out. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, someone says thanks. I don't know what it was for, but you're welcome. I don't know if you're talking to me or not. Rusty Shackelford says at Do It Martins, most of the world is like that now. Vassal states serving banks and foreign corporations and armies. Yeah, kind of just what I said. Yeah. Mr. Landfill says XRP is a cryptocurrency. So wait, I always think it's kind of weird when cryptocurrency kind of goes along with like apocalypse kind of talking, because like if things get to the point where it's like apocalyptic, the internet and computers aren't going to be a thing anymore. So there will be no cryptocurrency. That's like the first thing that'll vanish, you know. But yeah, maybe you get your cryptocurrency to buy the stuff before it all collapses. Jaimie, have you ever thought about building a gravity light? Yes, I have in fact built a gravity light. When I was at university, I took these art classes, these sculpture classes, and I didn't really, I obviously didn't fit in with the class very well because I'm a weirdo or whatever. Although there was one dude in my sculpture class who I got along with really well. He's Brian. He was crazy and he was super smart. I like that guy a lot. Anyway, one of the first things I made in my sculpture class at school was this machine where, how do I even describe this? It was maybe like this tall, and you put a coin in it, and the coin fell through a thing, did something, and then this motor up at the top started winding up this rope or this little string that was attached to a weight, and it pulled the weight up, and when the weight got to the top, the motor turned off, and something switched, and the weight fell down, spun the motor, which then became a generator, which powered a light and did a couple other things, and then hit the bottom and flung the coin into a container. It just did a bunch of weird stuff. But yeah, that totally had a gravity light. It didn't last that long, though, a few seconds. But yeah, I definitely thought about having a gravity light, which, you know, maybe I'll make at some point. I don't know. No, not a challenge, just not making it work. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, I don't know the situation. All right. Well, the Western civilization is also slowly dying. At least it's what it seems. Oh, totally. Yeah, man. Woot! Great stuff as always, Jaimie, says Shadowmancer. Well, thanks, Shadowmancer. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Rusty Shackelford says, we're pretty much in the show Westworld, where most people live Groundhog Day over again, working, and the rich people come to the cities to exploit them, just like the park in Westworld. Yeah, sounds like a pretty good description of what's going on. Let's see. Oh no, wait. Jaimie, when you swung a rope over clay to make a dome, genius, brother. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. So, if anyone missed this, a few years ago, I was talking with this guy about making fiberglass domes. And if you watch my videos, I'm sure you've seen one of these. Oh, you know, I've been working on the kayaks under a few of those fiberglass dome pieces. It's not a full dome, but it's, you know, partial. So it's open, it's just a roof. But anyway, I was talking with this guy a few years ago about making a fiberglass dome. And I was like, yeah, I'd be up for doing that. I've been thinking about doing it. And he's like, hey, I want some of those. If I buy the materials and pay you, will you build one for me? And I was like, all right, here's the deal. You don't have to pay me anything, but I'm making it at your house, so you have to clean up the mess. He's like, all right. And I'm gonna make two pieces, like two dome pieces. You get one and I get one. And you pay for the materials, I'll do the work. He's like, sweet, I thought I have to pay you too. I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. So anyway, what I did to get the round shape was I tied a string to the ceiling in a building and then attached a piece of wood at the bottom and then just put all this clay on the ground and kind of roughed it into the right shape and used that string hanging down and that piece of wood to tamp the clay and kind of smooth it out. And since the thing I was using was attached to the ceiling by a string, it made a spherical shape when I moved it around. So it made the shape, and yeah, that's and then I used the clay to be the mold for a bunch of fiberglass. I put fiberglass on it and then pulled it off. Yeah, it worked really well. That was like the worst explanation, but I think you get the point. Oh, where are we? How many layers would the fiberglass dome need to have longevity, durability, and weatherproof? Well, okay, with fiberglass, at least with polyester resin, which is what I'm using, you could also use epoxy resin, which costs like 10 times more, which is why I don't use it, because I don't like billions of dollars. But if you're using polyester resin, let's see, the dome. So if we're talking about the fiberglass dome, like the size that I made, they were 18 feet diameter, 10 feet high in the middle. It was a little bit more than half a sphere. And the ones that I made for myself were only 2 layers thick. So really not that thick at all. Like I couldn't stand on it. But 3 layers, you could crawl on it. 4 layers, you could stand on it. However, if you want durability and longevity, keep paint on it. Because once the sun hits the fiberglass, like the polyester resin, it starts degrading it, and it only lasts a few years bare. But if you keep paint on it, keep the sun off the actual fiberglass itself, it lasts like, I don't know, forever. And then in terms of the thickness though, like, the ones that I built that were 2 layers thick, totally fine. They totally work. As long as you're not jumping up and down on it, but handle wind, branches fall on it and stuff. Now, if a tree fell on it and crushed it, I mean, you'd have to make it like 20 layers thick to withstand like a giant tree landing on it. But yeah, like 2 layers is plenty. Unless you want to stand on it, then I'd do like 4 layers probably. And maybe there is a reason you'd want to stand on it. So yeah. Basil says Bitcoin is technologically the only finite resource on the planet. I would definitely recommend a portion of your investment there. I do have some portion of Bitcoinage. All right. Looks like I'm at the end of comments here. I guess maybe I'll go do something. Yeah, I'm going to take off in a minute, but if anyone has any questions or comments you want me, or anything you want me to talk about, let me know and I'll do it. And otherwise, I'll get out of here in a minute. All right, let's see. Rusty Shackelford says, fiberglass panels might be a great way to make a portable pop-up shelter to take on my sailboat. Oh, totally. Yeah, man. Yeah, if you want to make I would totally recommend that. Yeah. And if you make it right, yeah, the pieces can just stack together and take up almost no space, because they're flat. I mean, they'll obviously take some space because, they'll have to have space, but, they can be pretty flat. Good way to do it. Totally. You could even make it so that it could go into different configurations. So you could use it like as a roof on your sailboat. And then when you want to take it apart, like maybe partially assemble it on your sailboat, or double up or triple up the layers so it becomes a smaller thing that fits on the sailboat for a roof. And then, you take it off and assemble it into the full shape on land or whatever. But yeah, it shouldn't take up that much space. Basil, if I'm not mistaken, Jaimie told us sometime before that someone donated some Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoins are expensive right now. XRP is cryptocurrency that works with banks, governments, financial institutions, etc. Yes. You can buy it via Zaman app. I don't know if it works with banks and governments. I don't know. I don't trust banks and governments. Lightweight fiberglass panels, 6x10 to make a small hut for camping and hunting. Oh, totally, man. You could even lightweight fiberglass panels, 6x10. Yeah, you can if you make light like flat panels, you can even curve them. So you could you could have like an end piece that's like, rounded, and another end piece that's rounded, and in the middle you could have a flat sheet, so it makes it easy to store wherever, but then it can curve right over that thing, and then it gets, from the curve, it gets some strength. I don't know, there's so many different ways you could make a pretty cool pop-up fiberglass shelter. Totally, man, do it. I think that sounds cool. Can you send me pictures? Heck yeah, Jaimie. Love asking you questions and getting your awesome create answer. Most people around me is like asking a rock how to mount a solar panel. Yeah, I totally know what you mean. Yeah, you go up to the average person and you're like, yo, man, I want to make a cool pop-up shelter out of fiberglass that I can, and they're just like, what? How much alcohol does that have in it? Because like, I feel like getting drunk now. Or actually, my favorite response is always like, well, how are you going to make money off that? How do you make money off that? Like, that's, anyway. Wendy, what's going on, Wendy? What is better than foam to build surfboard fiberglass on? I don't know, Wendy. What is better than foam? Okay, I don't think that was a joke that's supposed to have a punchline. I think that was a serious question. Okay, what is better than foam to build surfboard fiberglass on? Better than foam. Well, foam definitely works. You could use nothing and just make it hollow. You just have to make sure the fiberglass is thick enough. I don't know. I feel like foam works pretty good. And, not styrofoam, obviously, because it would melt. Although it depends what kind of resin you're using. But there's foam that works with polyester resin, like that gross yellow foam stuff. I don't know what's better than foam. Maybe that honeycomb board stuff. I guess you should be able to shape that, right? Like if you got a thick sheet of that and took an angle grinder to it and like got it into the right shape, you could totally do it. Yeah, you could totally do that. But I don't know that would be any better than foam. I once had a funny conversation about surfboards with a lady who surfs, and I picked up some damaged surfboards, like broken ones, chipped ones, and I was saying, well, I might just cover the whole thing in another layer of fiberglass because it'll get rid of all the dings and the cracks and everything, just like recoat the whole thing. And she's like, no, you can't add weight to it. I was like, what do you mean you can't add weight to it? The thing hardly weighs anything. You're not gonna add some weight to it. She's like, no. They make them so light so it'll stay on top of the water when you're surfing. If you even add like half a pound, it won't stay on top of the water anymore. And I'm like, are you sure about that? She's like, oh yes, absolutely. And she was very confident in this answer. And I'm like, well, I weigh like 200 pounds. So I am going to be putting 200 pounds on the surfboard. She's like, oh, that doesn't matter. That's fine. That doesn't matter. It's as long as you don't put weight on the surfboard. And I'm like, wait. So if I'm standing on a surfboard and I can surf on the waves just fine, and then I get out of the water and I drink like a liter of water, eat a hamburger, and put on a backpack, I can get on the surfboard and keep surfing even though I've added more weight to myself. But if I add half a pound of weight to the surfboard, I and the surfboard will sink. She says, oh yeah, that's definitely how it works. Yeah, you can weigh more, but the surfboard can't weigh more. And I'm like, what? Confidence over competence. Yeah, I don't know what to say in those situations. I'm like, you're a human. You have a brain. Like, what's wrong with it? I don't know. Okay. Wait. I have a large toolkit for building in a minivan. Cool, Mr. Yanarobi. That sounds great. Okay, Wendy says lighter and stronger. So something lighter and stronger than foam for a surfboard. Wendy, do you surf? I want to get into surfing. I mean, I'm like too busy all the time. I also am not right near waves. I'd have to go a little bit far. If there were waves like right here, I would be surfing. I mean, there's little waves, but not really enough to surf. What the foam inside the surfboards is pretty good. It's pretty light and strong. But the thing is, you're not going to get strength out of the foam itself. You get the strength from it comes from the fiberglass that's on the surface. So yeah, I don't know. They're already so light. Like, I can pick up a surfboard with my hand like this. I wouldn't even want them any lighter personally. I definitely want them stronger because they're so light. They like break, Sam says, buy XRP, guys. It's only 50 cents now and will likely be hundreds, even thousands within 2 years. Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know about this stuff. John says, I'm still waiting on the video where you source the ingredients to make poutine. Oh, man. For anyone who doesn't know, poutine, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm Canadian and I should get this right. But poutine is French fries with gravy on it, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Hollow? Interesting, Wendy says. Well, okay, Wendy, if you make a surfboard that's hollow, you'll definitely have to make the fiberglass thicker so it won't just collapse. Because, the foam inside keeps the shape. But you can totally do it. You know what? That would be tricky. You could make a surfboard hollow with fiberglass and leave it a little like a Schrader valve, like a bicycle tire thing sticking out of it, and you could inflate it with enough pressure that you could stand on it and it wouldn't deform. But I kind of feel like that's not going to be any better than the foam. It would be kind of funny though. Hey guys, I'm going surfing. Hold on, I got to pump up on board. Oh man. Mr. Landfill's asking Sam, did you start XRP by chance? Sam, did you start XRP? Wendy says styrofoam seems the surfboard usual inside. Yeah, I think most of the surfboards that I've seen have been styrofoam on the inside. And then when they put the fiberglass on, they use epoxy because the epoxy won't melt the styrofoam. Polyester resin, though, it'll go right through styrofoam, like just disintegrate it. And if people use foam in boats, but they'll use that yellow kind of disgusting formaldehyde-y foam stuff for boats and then put polyester resin on that. But with a surfboard, it's small enough that it's kind of worth paying the extra money for the epoxy, I guess. I don't know. Oh, Sam says, no, it's top 5 market cap for 10 plus years. Okay. Mr. Yanarobi says, thin wood surfboard. You could totally do a wood surfboard. Yeah. Phil says, yeah, it's crazy that most people treat things that can't make them money as worthless. Yeah, it's a weird mentality to measure everything by the amount of money it's worth or can make or whatever. Just yeah, it doesn't make sense because I've said this a million times. Money is not the valuable thing. Money is only as valuable as whatever you do with it. So money is only as valuable as whatever you're buying with it or whatever you're doing, whatever experience you're getting out of it or whatever. The money itself has no value. Yeah. Because if civilization ended and you were just left with a lot of money, well, there's nothing you can do with it. And you could use it to start some fires and, maybe you could draw pictures on it or something, but it's not really worth much itself. Okay, Sausage Toes says, how do you make it hollow? Do you glass over a surfboard shaped chunk of ice? No, you can make a surfboard hollow just by making, there's a lot of ways to do it. Okay, I've been making kayaks and I make a bottom and a top and then I stick them together. So you could do it that way, make the bottom of the surfboard and the top of the surfboard and stick them together. Or you could just make it over a block of ice and then melt it and drip it out the bottom or whatever. Sure. Yeah, just use an external mold, not an internal shape. McCarthy was correct about Hollywood in the 50s. Our history teacher was a colonel. He told us how the entire West and all of our institutions have been infiltrated by commies. McCarthy was right. Yeah, that does not surprise me at all. Yeah. Steve Berkshire says, "Do you still have your sailboat?" Not really. Sorry for being political, but politics is not sorry. Yeah, I mean, you can be political. Yeah. I mean, ridiculous politics are kind of like dragging the world into an early grave right now. Not an early grave. That's not the right word. When a civilization collapses, it's not like it's dead, but like a lot of things are gone and kind of has to restart. Rusty Shackelford says, cities are like a collective Borg hive mind that abuses you. It totally is. Andrew Potter, hey from Vermont. What's up, Andrew? How's it going? Man, I still got to thank you for that maple syrup. That was awesome. Yeah, totally cool. Having pancakes with my kids. We had a whole bunch of pancakes, many days of pancakes. That was awesome. Wendy says the 1950s Hawaiian-style longboard surfboards were solid wood and really heavy. You couldn't do many tricks on them. Yeah. McBong's Lab says poutine has cheese curds too, I think. Oh, crap. Okay, poutine is French fries with gravy and cheese curds. Is that right? Okay. Rusty Shackelford says poutine, French fries, gravy, and cheese. Okay. Let's go, and some bacon bits on top, and green onion. Ooh, that does sound nice. Do It says, the irony is that we feed them. Yeah, the politicians and the crazies, and yeah. The craziest part about our civilization today is that there are people tearing it apart, and there are other people saying, please don't tear the civilization apart. But those people who are saying, please don't tear the civilization apart, are also supporting the people who are tearing it apart. It's just, it's so weird. But as far as I understand, it's happened many times. John Smith says, blasphemy! You forgot your Canadian heritage. Poutine is fries, gravy, and cheese curds. See, now I was from the English-speaking part of Canada. We didn't really have poutine. Poutine was over in Quebec, which was a neighboring state. So at least I knew enough that it was fries and gravy. But yeah, I wasn't in the poutine section. Most people think getting rich and traveling will make them happy, only to come home more confused and lost. Totally, man. Yeah. I was just talking to a friend recently who is just constantly trying to figure out how to make more money. Oh, should I buy this place? Is it going to appreciate? Oh, should I get involved with this? Should I invest in that and that? And she has all this money. And I'm like, dude, like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to do? Like, say you had all the money in the universe. Then what? And he's just like, oh, no, that doesn't make sense. What are you talking about? I can't have all the money in the universe. And I'm just like, okay, that wasn't the point. Like, do you want to do anything yourself? Like, do you actually want to do anything other than just make more money endlessly to make more money? It's like having wishes and just wishing for more wishes and never actually wishing for something other than just more wishes, more money, more money. But it can be difficult to try to figure out what you care about and what you want. And I think the hardest thing about that is the fear that if you start doing what you want, it might fail, or people might make fun of you for it, or there's all kinds of things where once you start doing what you really care about, now you are responsible for whatever happens. And I think that's one of the biggest obstacles people have to overcome to be able to do what they really want to do in life, is just get over the idea that, yes, if you do what you want to do, it will be your fault if it fails. Okay, fine. Just do it anyway, But a lot of people just get stuck on that. Oh, where are we? Oh, we're okay. Reed says, doodling in my head on how to turn unused treadmill treads into inflatable boat pontoons. Treadmill treads into inflatable boat pontoons. Yeah, you could definitely do it. I once made inflatable boat pontoons out of canvas, painted with rubber latex. You could probably just do it with latex paint. It's just basically rubber latex with a bunch of color in it, right? But that's a separate thing. Treadmill treads, I think they're impermeable on their own. I don't know. Cork would work instead of styrofoam. Plus, then you could kill a tree. Yeah, you could make a cork wood surfboard. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if I have cork trees around here. I might. I have no idea. I don't know what they look like from the outside. Do It says gold, food, and toilet paper. Have produce that the day after. Have produce that the day after, and you will be king. Gold, food, and toilet paper. Food is the important one there. Gold and toilet paper, not that important. Because again, the gold, what are you going to do with gold? Gold is only as valuable as the person who has what you want thinks it's valuable, you know? Here's the thing. If you have like 100 pounds of gold and you're starving and someone else has food, you will pay whatever you have to pay. You will pay the entire 100 pounds of gold for a sandwich if you are starving, you know? Ark says, hey, how's it going, Ark? Looks like I'm tuning in late, but hello, Jaimie. Hello, Ark. I hope everything's going well. Phil says to sausage toes, one other way to make something hollow is to cover styrofoam with fiberglass epoxy and then flush it with acetone from the inside. Acetone melts most foams. It would totally do that, yeah. It sounds like a horrible ordeal to go through. At Phil, okay, Rusty Shackelford says, or a stainless hardware cloth mesh as a structure for epoxy and glass. You could just make a stainless steel surfboard. Oh, maybe I should think of it. Maybe I should do that. I was thinking about making a stainless steel kayak. I was also thinking about making a titanium kayak. It would cost about $2,000, but it would be amazing and last forever, I think. But yeah, a stainless steel one wouldn't actually cost that much. I don't know, that would be kind of fun to do. I might have to do it. Ark says, have you ever considered building an airship? Oh, yes, definitely. You've got pedal-powered airships, or you could use an electric motor, sew up a balloon, and I don't know, fill it up with hydrogen. Hope you're doing good. Could fill it with hydrogen, that's true. Yeah, I've totally thought about building an airship. I might do it at some point. I don't know. I kind of feel like an airship is not going to be as useful as it is cool. You know, it would be amazing though. That fan first live stream, but I've been watching your videos for a couple months. Zombie Spaceman, how's it going, Zombie Spaceman? I hope you're doing well. Ark says, that fan you printed lasts an impressively long time. Yeah, it lasts longer now. So this is the fan that it was in the last video I put up. It had a different propeller on. With this propeller, it lasts, well, I'm not sure how long it lasts, but it went up to 12 minutes before I stopped paying attention. So over 12 minutes anyway. And it was only like 9.5 minutes on the other propeller. Rich people hate that question. They want money for the sake of power and control, not to create a good life for them and their family. That's something I don't understand. You know, I mean, I guess I understand it, but I just think it's dumb. Like chasing money and power. It just becomes this ridiculous contest. And it's meaningless. Like, for me personally, I would not want power over other people. I want to be around people who are free. And that makes it so they can be interesting. If I have power over all the people around me, that's going to be so boring. Like, none of the people are going to do anything interesting because I'm just going to be making do everything, like whatever I want. I put them in a schedule, do this. No, I want if I'm around 1,000 people, I want all those people to be free to like come up with what like ideas themselves of how to make life better and blah. Who knows? I mean, obviously, some of them will decide to make life worse, but they'll do that anyway. You have to put in that effort. You do have to put in that effort. Totally, man. He is up to 12 minutes now. Yeah, over 12 minutes. I don't know. Hitting the nail on the head. Thank you, Zombie Spaceman. Rusty Shackelford says the cities are a power game. They're totally a power game. Yeah, totally. I want to adventure build, and that is what I do. Beauty, man. Awesome. Yeah, me too. Like, yeah, like so little of my day is required to be spent on trying to make money. It's so nice that I can spend my time doing things that I want to do. Like even with this fan here, right? So I've been working on this, thinking that I could share all the files so other people could print them out and make them. I could probably make some money off this, but I think it's going to be overall more valuable just to the world in general if I just share the files freely, and maybe I'll ask for, anyone who wants to donate, here's a spot you can donate. But, if I was in a situation where I was constantly chasing money, I'd have to like make the files, like put them behind a paywall, and then some 8-year-old kid who wants to do something cool won't be able to do it. Instead, he'll be like, well, can't do anything cool. May as well watch porn all day instead, or get into trouble or whatever. So I really enjoy having a life where I don't have to chase money. I can do what I think is right and what I think is better rather than having to do everything to maximize the money. Oh, where were we? I'm a bore, so we are farmers. We need our political enemies. We feed our political enemies literally. Yeah, that's got to be hard. Being a farm, before a farm attack, they eat food we produce. One day we will store all the grain. It is amazing anytime I hear about a farm being attacked. Because, like, isn't that what happened in Russia? I don't remember what it was. But the communists started attacking farmers because they weren't communist enough or whatever. And all they did was destroy the food supply, I don't remember all the details on that, but that would have been a much better story if I did. Oh, man. Toilet paper can be made with sheep wool felt and be made washable or disposable. You know what? You know what's better than wiping your ass with paper? Just washing your butt. Like, go in the shower if you have to. Like, how many times are you pooping a day? Are you pooping like 200 times a day? It's like you don't have time to wash your butt. Seems kind of weird to me. I feel like you should be washing your butt every time you poop, not just like wiping. Like, imagine someone shit on your floor. And you just get some paper towels and wipe it up and then throw it away. And like, that's good enough. So what? You wouldn't do that. So why do you do that with your own ass? Like, why would you just like, I pooped. I got some poop on me. Let me just wipe it with some paper. There we go. Why would you not wash your own butt every time you poop? In case anyone's wondering, I wash my butt every time I poop. All my kids, they wash their butt when they poop. Even my little kids, my little kids, I mean, they're kind of growing out of this. They're kind of growing out of this at this point. But when they were littler, they would tell me they pooped. I would take them over to my water thing, which is, it's not a hose, but it like squirts water out. And I would hold them ass first at it. And it would just fire hose at their butt and clean it off. And yeah, anyway. Yeah, the whole paper thing, it doesn't make sense. Mr. Yanarobi says, Dacron skin on wood strip surfboard. Ooh, that sounds beautiful. Zombie Spaceman says, I love all your inventions. Well, thanks, Zombie Spaceman. I like building my inventions. John Smith says, 3 pounds of gold in a sock makes one hell of a weapon in an apocalypse to get yourself a sandwich. Well, okay, that is true. However, You could just pick up a rock and stick that in your sock. So, yeah, the gold is kind of silly at that point. Doing great, thank you. I hope you are too. I am doing pretty well, zombie spaceman. Okay, Ark says about an airship. The small do-it-yourself ones are so cool. Cruising over the trees. Oh man, you're making me think about building an airship. Honestly, I could probably build one with what I have in this house right now. In fact, I'm pretty sure I could build an airship with what I have right now. Cruising over the trees and water, but not so useful for sure. No time, but would be cool to have. Would love to see micro airships cruising around your dome. Man, it would be amazing. Yeah. Wow, that was wisdom, says Rusty Shackelford. Mr. Landfill says, find an inflatable piece the size of a surfboard, fiberglass all sides except one, then deflate and remove. And we're still trying to figure out how to make a hollow surfboard. This is funny. Oh man, I still think the idea of an inflatable surfboard, like a fiberglass surfboard that you inflate to make sure it keeps its shape, that would be hilarious. You'd have to shape it right so it didn't just like bulge out, but you can definitely do it. Free people are interesting and slaves are not. Totally, man. Yeah, I personally, I would not want to be a slave or a slave master. I think both positions, they're just not a high value life, and that's, people talk about it as it is. I think the higher you up are on the food chain, the more people you're enslaving, the better you're off. And no, that's a terrible way to live. It's boring and let's see, where am I? Instead of building conventional airship, just add hydrogen lifting gas in impermeable bladders to the boats you've made to gain a small amount of lift, thus reducing the weight of the craft in water. Except when there's a wind. Oh my God, that would make it so not aerodynamic. If there's a tailwind, great, but would you ever go back to making robot toys? I totally would go back to making robot toys. That was super fun. I love doing that. I just wouldn't want all the ridiculous BS business stuff, I actually have a 3D printed spider tank that I want to share the files for, but the problem is the files were made in AutoCAD and then they got changed to a different file type. So the units are all screwed up on them. So some of them are like sized like this and some of them are sized like tiny. So it's a bit of a mess. I guess the short answer is yes. I really enjoyed, like when I worked in the toy industry before, I loved doing the engineering stuff and I loved working with the factory and the factory manager, and there was an engineering firm that we worked with, and I loved hanging out with those guys. I really had a lot of fun with them, and they seemed to have fun with me too. Like we all got along really well. I'm still friends with those guys. And yeah, every once in a while I think, man, maybe I should do something with those guys again. I don't know, but yeah, I really enjoyed all the engineering and problem solving and all that stuff. It's just the business people and the egos and just dealing with these horrible people who could do nothing but get in the way. Oh, they wasted so much time and effort. It was annoying. Lee Johnson, very interesting concept. Oh yeah, about the hydrogen balloons on the boat. I just heard, let's see, Lee says, I just heard you describing your aversion to having power over people, but you are the type of man that people should be following. The problem with money is that it becomes the tool of middlemen. Well, I think the problem with money is that people are just using it wrong. They're thinking about it wrong. Like money is a tool, and it's a tool to make transactions easier. It's a great tool for that. And the problem is when people start hoarding the money, then there are just so many problems that come along with that when people start valuing the money itself instead of just using it as a way to exchange goods. One of the big problems that came up with money is thievery. If I have let's say I have cows and a goat and a boat and a house. Like if you want to steal one of those, it's like a major operation. Like you want to steal my cow, you got to get it's not that easy to steal like a 4,000-pound cow or whatever the way, I don't know. But to steal the money that cow is worth, you can stick that in your pocket. So thievery became a way bigger thing once money became a thing. And then, there are all the gimmicky ways people use money to manipulate things. And yeah, people are just using it wrong. It's a really useful tool that's being abused to be manipulative and blah, blah, blah. But wouldn't the inflatables cause drag? Yes, Mr. Landfall, totally, 100%. Rusty Shackleford says, yeah, a bidet is the way to go. All this toilet paper is madness. Madness? This is toilet paper. Yes, toilet paper is madness. Like that's one of those things where the more I thought about it, the more I was just like, this is madness. Like you got to keep going to buy this stuff, and then it doesn't do a good job. It's just disposable. It's like you're buying a subscription to have a permanently dirty butt until you finally go have a shower. It's crazy. Is that huge mango tree by the ocean you found in one of your videos still doing good? I've been on a mango kick lately up here in Wyoming. Are there a lot of varieties of delicious mangoes around? Man, okay, so I have two huge mango trees kind of up behind the house. Well, one's kind of behind the house, and then one's like almost off the island, is like right at the shore. And they're both huge. And several years ago, they just made tons of mangoes. But last year, they made hardly anything. This year, I maybe got like 20 or 30 mangoes off them. It wasn't that much. I think they might be getting too big and just like too old. So I either need to cut them down and let some smaller ones come up or trim them. Like the one mango tree that's just up here, the trunk is probably, I don't know, it's bigger than that. Yeah, the trunk is probably that big. More. Yeah, it's like a meter across at least. The trunk is huge. It's a really big tree. And I do have a bunch of small mango trees coming in, so yeah, I might have to take that one down. I don't know. I got so many things to do. Oh, let's see. Rusty Shackleford says, let me just smear this poop all over the floor. No water. Yeah. Just wipe it up with some paper. Lee Johnson says, inflatables could be aerodynamic, perhaps built into the boat itself, although hydrogen is pretty volatile but easy to produce yourself. The hard part is keeping it contained since it is a small atom. Okay, to have an inflatable thing that's going to be big enough to give any reasonable lift to one of my boats, it's going to have to be huge, like bigger than the boat. And even if I make it a pretty aerodynamic shape, it's going to have a lot of drag still, like compared to just the boat itself. Like it's going to add a lot of drag. Oh, I got burps. Yeah. Phil says a couple of news for dreamers. Ooh, news for dreamers. One, Dr. Charles Bueller from NASA discovered new way of propulsion without propellant. What is this? It's based on asymmetric electrostatic field, which generates force. And it works. Is it working? Does it work? That's what I want. Is it totally working? They got it working? Because that's crazy awesome if it works. Wendy says, Japanese electric toilets, regular toilet bowl with water jets that open automatically and plays your favorite music. Wait. Hold on. There's a boat outside. Hey! Oh, okay, they're just passing by. So if I want to find out, someone asked me what my favorite song was recently. If I want to find out, I just need to sit on a Japanese toilet and it'll play it for me. Then I could find out my favorite song. That might be useful because then I could find out my favorite music and I could play it all the time. Rusty Shackleford says, Jaimie, can you create a list of things you need so people could send you them? Or if you have an Amazon wish list? I totally have an Amazon wish list, man. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff on it right now too. Like super useful stuff. I don't put anything on my Amazon wish list that won't be useful. There should be a link to it in the description. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, people send me stuff off my Amazon wish list sometimes. What do I have around here? Oh, someone sent me this off my Amazon wish list, which is powdered cheese, which is, it's almost empty. Delicious though. And I'm in the kitchen right now, so I don't have a lot of stuff. But like people have sent me a bunch of tools and stuff. Like, that metal shear thing. Oh, I use that all the time. Someone sent me that and a metal bender. And what else? I don't know. People have sent me a whole bunch of stuff off my Amazon wish list. So like super thanks to everyone who's done that. Awesomely useful. Yes, I do have an Amazon wish list. Do it. Martin says, wait, what is this boat going by? Hold on. When you live on an island and there's not that many people around, you kind of get used to the sound of the boats. I don't recognize that boat. I don't know who it is. Yeah, it's so weird. Most of the boats, I know who it is like right away. Just by, the motors have different sound and people drive at different speeds, so you can tell by that, just how it sounds. Jaimie, you were referring to the Holodomor. Oh, the Holodomor under Stalin. Anybody who even owned a cow was liquidated. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That thing. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, yeah. Phil says, okay, this is another news thing for nerds. He didn't say they're for nerds, but a couple of things for dreamers, right? I'm just going to say nerds. Japanese company Clean Planet seem to have figured out cold fusion with ordinary hydrogen, relatively cold, 900 degrees Celsius. Oh yeah, I like to have a 900 degrees Celsius room that I can just like cool off in all the time. They're working on commercial boilers now. Really? So they got it like worked out, like totally good. Okay, here's one. What's the story with these solid state batteries? Because a little bit ago, I saw a thing pop up and said, some car company was putting some solid state batteries in their cars, and these things were amazing. What's the story with that? What's going on there? I'm not that excited about the cold fusion, but still, it's cool. Personally, I think we waste too much energy. I don't think that having more energy will make our lives better. I think first we need to figure out how to live with the excess energy we have now and learn how to like turn it off. Because people will have like TVs on in their house all day and like noise and all this stuff, blah, just constant noise and blah, stuff, And I think there's a lot of value in turning that stuff off and just experiencing silence or experiencing just the noises. Right now I have crickets. Crickets in the fridge. The boat's gone. Yeah, that's it right now. Sounds I have are crickets in the fridge. Oh. Wait, where am I? Phil, it's about time. Wait, yeah, but that propulsion thing that works without propellant, that's awesome. Phil, about time it's accepted by mainstream academia. Wait, what is the Japanese company with their cold fusion? Man, mainstream academia. Do people still care about that? Like, why would you even care? Mainstream academia is just a joke. It's ridiculous. Do it, says Gulag Archipelago. I've never actually read it. Yeah. Although the guy, oh, what's his name? Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I've heard him speak. Smart guy. Was it? Was that the right guy? I don't know. My mind is foggy on that. I don't remember all those details. If there's like some technical thing, I'll remember all the details. But if you tell me someone's name, most of the time I don't remember it unless it's like someone I think I'm going to meet and I'll need to know their name. How are you liking your second floor? Oh, I love it. Second floor is amazing. You kidding? Are you stoked about floor 3 or still charging up for the worthy brutality of logging the wood? Oh, so impressed by how much you manifest. Oh, man. I am excited about the third floor, but I want to finish the second floor first. I may have to go cut a few more boards just for the second floor. I do have a bunch of wood. I don't know. I might have enough wood to finish the banked floor on the second floor. It's going to be close. Maybe it won't be. I don't know. I haven't actually counted the boards, but I definitely still have some wood left that I haven't cut into strips. But yeah, in terms of the third floor, yeah, kind of what you said is right on. I'm not super much thinking about the third floor yet because I know I'm going to have to go into the jungle and spend probably like 2 weeks just grinding, just chainsawing. And then I'm going to have to carry all that wood out. Ooh, I don't know what's harder, cutting the wood or carrying it all out. I think this time probably what I'll do. So what I did last time to cut the boards for the second floor, I rough cut planks of wood with the chainsaw. So they were a little bit thicker than I was going to plane them down to. But basically one slab was one board thickness. And then I ran them through the lumber mill, cutting off the sides, and then planed the top and the bottom. But the next time I may just cut straight like blocks of wood, basically as big as I can possibly carry, and then cut them with the lumber mill. Although, the thing is, if I cut them into the thinner pieces like I did last time, they definitely dry faster. So that is a huge advantage to just cutting them like into the slices. I don't know. Either way, there's going to be it's going to be a lot of work. So yeah, I'm kind of charging up for that. But yeah, I gotta get the second floor done. What I'm thinking about right now, mostly in terms of wood and floors, is I want to finish spackling just the bottom part of the second floor that's going to be blocked by the banked track, and then I want to finish the banked track, and then I want to run on it, and that's all I've really thought up to. I'm excited to run on that thing and just see how amazing it is. I'll get a video of the first time I run on it. Phil says at Rusty Shackelford, it'll take time for people to actually believe something new. Oh, totally. Well, I mean, the thing is with academia, once these idiots start teaching something, they're like, oh, it's gospel now, can never be changed, which is frustrating. Not all people. Like Einstein, I think it was Einstein. Someone correct me if I get this wrong. Wasn't Einstein the one who? Well, at least there's a joke about it. I don't know if it really happened, but he was handing out a physics exam to some students. This may have been just a joke and not actually happened, but whatever. And Einstein was handing out a physics exam to his students, and someone said, "Hey, this is the exact same exam you handed out last year. What are you doing?" And Einstein's just like, "Well, the answers keep changing." So, people can't cheat because the answers keep changing. Which is great to have that kind of mindset that that the answers are going to change. People are going to learn more. You're going to find out more. There's going to be new stuff. You know what the craziest thing I've ever heard from academia, students who know everything or professors who know everything, is these idiots who say, everything that can be invented has been invented. That's it. All throughout human history, new things have been invented, right up to the point where we are right now. and we are the pinnacle, and nothing else could be invented. Like, really? Really? Like, how stupid do you have to be? It's like walking down a road backwards and thinking, well, I've just walked 8 miles this way, but this is the end. This is the end of the road right here. And not even looking to see if there's more road there. You just walked like 8 miles this way, and the road kept going. And then just deciding, oh, this is it. This is the end. This is where I am. That's it. Nope, don't walk past me. Don't walk past me. No, whoa, nobody go past. There's no more road. There's no more road. All right, buddy. and like professors teach this crap. Hydrogen in airships is a problem because of sparks. How to make a fire-safe balloon. Yeah, I just don't have any sparks, man. It'd be cool. I would totally sail a hydrogen airship. And yeah, I would be careful. Nothing made sparks. But, everything has risks. Jeez. Oh, man, maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. That'd be a risky thing. I got a vintage fan at a garage sale. It's by far the best fan I've ever had. Needs to be studied and reverse engineered. I once had a vintage fan too. I don't know what year it was from, but like it was an electric fan. The blades were brass, I think. Yeah, the blades were brass, the propeller blades. The motor worked like it was brand new. The only thing that was kind of degrading on it was the wire that came out of it. It didn't have a plastic coating because this thing was so old. It had like this kind of cloth, like woven cloth coating. So I ended up replacing that with a newer wire. That thing was amazing. Best fan I ever had. But yeah, it didn't make it to Vermont. I think I lost it when I moved from Boston because I just there's a lot of stuff I couldn't take with me every time I've moved. I've had to leave a bunch of things behind. Rusty Shackelford says that file. Thanks, Heinz. I don't know where you're at Phil. I don't know. Anyway, Wendy says solar panels equal electricity plus H2O equals hydrogen and oxygen plus airship plus rockets. Yeah, totally. Yeah, if you have electricity, you can split water, get hydrogen and oxygen. You can make airships. You can make rockets. Yeah. It's a Torcan fan. Is that what the vintage fan is? A Torcan fan, like a. I'm gonna remember this because it sounds like a toucan, but it's a Torcan. Got it. Wizard of the North, what's going on, man? I'm late. I didn't see the notification. You know what? Notifications are annoying because sometimes on this damn tablet, it like blip, 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 gives me notifications, and other times it just doesn't say anything. Yeah, silly thing. Jaimie, mango trees are usually cut down after 5 to 7 years because they don't yield as much. I was reading on mangoes. I see. Yeah, my mango trees are way older than that. I should totally cut them down. They're not going to make mangoes anymore, are they? Well, one of them is basically shading a huge area on this side of my island. So it's kind of nice having that shade there. But yeah, I might take it down. Because it shades a lot of area. I could put a whole bunch of things there. Let's see. Wow, I got so many burps today. Wizard of the North, can I talk about the running track? Oh, can I talk about the running track some more? Are you saying, can I talk about it or can you? I'm going to talk about the running track. I hope that's okay. I think you should look at some pics vids of indoor 200-meter track and field tracks. Dude, are you unaware? I ran track and field for many years. I've run on many indoor 200-meter track and field tracks. Yes, I even ran on a 145-meter track and field track one time. I broke a meet record there in the 600 meters. But man, it was just like you were just constantly hitting curves. It was I don't know what the stadium's called anymore. At one point it was in Hamilton, Ontario. At one point it was called Cops Coliseum, and then I think they named something else. I don't know. It's some coliseum in Hamilton, Ontario. And it's mostly like a hockey rink, but you can fit a small running track, like track and field track, inside a hockey rink. Apparently 145 meters you could fit in there. But yeah, I've run on lots of indoor tracks. That got me thinking about track and field. I still occasionally have dreams about running track. Wizard of the North said, since they're shorter than outdoor 400-meter tracks, they're banked in the turns. The radius is approximately the same as your house, and they're only banked at 10 to 15 degrees. Let me think. Is it like... Well, yeah, they're definitely banked less than I'm doing. Are you saying I'm banking it too much? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because I've run unbanked things enough to know what I think I should be able to run on. The curve might be tighter here. I think this is a pretty tight curve, even for an indoor track. I don't know, I have to confirm that, but let's say a 200-meter track, it's going to have like 50-meter straightaway, probably a little bit less. Yeah, the straightaways were usually shorter than the curves, although it depends. Dartmouth's track was like almost all curves. But anyway, let's go with the tightest curves you'd find on an indoor track would probably be like a 50-meter straight and a 50-meter curve. 50-meter curve, like for a half a circle. I can't do math when I'm like trying to talk to a camera because it's a different part of my brain. So it'd be 100 meters for a whole circle. So what would the diameter be of that? Like 30 meters. So that's like twice the diameter of my house. So yeah, my house is, I'd have to double check. I don't know if I did the math right at all when I was just doing that, but like, I'm pretty sure my house has tighter corners than your standard indoor track. Either way, I think 30 degrees is going to be great. I think it's total. I don't think it's too steep at all. And you know what? You know what I'm going to do? The first time I run on this track, I'm going to get video of it. Maybe I won't do a live. Maybe I will do a live. But I will definitely get video of the first time I run this track. So you can see if I like just fall on my face on this too steep track. A few people have mentioned that they think it's too steep. But yeah, I don't think it's too steep at all. Alex Moore, hi Jamie, hope you've been well. I've been pretty well, Alex, thank you. John Smith says, wait, why is John Smith? Is that the guy from Pocahontas, John Smith? That's who keeps coming into my head, right? John Smith from Pocahontas, I think that guy was John Smith. Jamie, if you have access to unlimited fruit, I don't. Wait, there is one fruit that is almost unlimited. You should ferment the excess and distill it. Even if you don't drink it, it's great. It's a great trade item. I do have access to a kind of insane amount of star fruit, which is like the worst fruit. It's not that edible. I mean, it's kind of edible, but not that good. Man, if I had that many apples, I would just eat apples all the time. But the star fruit, it's kind of like really acidic or something. But yeah, maybe I should start fermenting it, and maybe there's something good to do fermenting it. All right, Rusty Shackelford says to Phil, look up Thane Hines. What's Thane Hines? Should I look that up too? Wait, I just reloaded the chat and a whole bunch of stuff was not showing up, and now it is. Where am I? Okay, there we are. Okay, Phil says to me, the propellantless drive seems to work, but for now it generates very little force. They're working on a version that will generate more force to be way more useful. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be that much force to be useful, but I mean, it's got to be some reasonable amount. But yeah, presumably you could put a propellantless drive on a spaceship, send it to another star, and it just accelerates halfway there and then turns around and decelerates halfway there. Yeah, Rusty Shackelford says that John Smith, dehydrated and freeze it, solar freezer. Yeah, Starfruit is not that great. I'm quite skeptical about magnet-based generators. Will believe it when I see it in person. Magnet-based generators, yeah. Would you buy? Would y'all buy salt off Jaimie's island? So someone was telling me that I should export salt because I can make salt. You know, it's ocean, salt water. But it's like let me see. I got a bag of salt here. I don't know how much this cost, like $1 or something. Like, it's got no price tag. Where's the price tag? See, this isn't even worth enough for them to put a price tag on it. But like, for me to, it would cost more to ship salt out of here than the salt would be worth, I think, you know. I don't know that salt is the way to go. It would have to be a super specialty, mega expensive item to be worth doing at all. Let's see. Solid state batteries are just lithium-ion batteries with solid electrolytes, a bit better than ordinary lithium-ion batteries, but not as much. Well, as far as I understand, the major update, the major advantage. What's the word? Not update or advantage. Okay, I'm running out of English words because I'm speaking too much Spanish lately. Advantage. The major advantage of the solid state batteries is that they don't grow the dendrites, which eventually kills the lithium-ion batteries. So the cycle life is way longer. So you can get one of these batteries and have it for like the rest of your life, you know, which would be pretty sweet. That's a huge advantage. Oh, sea salt dehydrated mangoes. You guys are silly. The Japanese cold fusion stuff was tested for 500 days without H2 refuel. It's very efficient. Like H2 from half a glass of water is enough to fuel a household for a year. Whoa, that's pretty crazy. Mainstream, man, that is crazy. Rusty Shackelford says mainstream academia is just a bunch of Jordan Petersons self-prescribing their own happy pills. Oh, I would say mainstream academia is worse than that, but yeah. Do it, Martins. Yeah, Jordan Peterson, he's got some really good ideas, but then he's also got some really screwed up stuff in his head. Like, yeah. I don't know. It just seems like all those guys who are all into talking all the time. It's like, oh yeah, he's got a point. Oh yeah, he's got a really good point here. Oh yeah, he's got a whoa. What is he doing now? That is insane. That doesn't make any sense at all. Like, you know, or it's like they'll have lots of good talking points or things to say, but then it's like they just behave horribly in the real life. Or, I don't know. There's so many guys who are like that. Alexander Solzhenitsyn, you have a good memory, Jaimie. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That guy was cool. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for that dude. Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Like he was someone who just said what needed to be said, but the problem is the problem with someone like that, like a person who says what needs to be said, is that no one listens. Like if you don't have people listening, it doesn't really matter. And the problem with today is that there are so many bad voices and just nowhere near enough good voices. Like we need like 500 million Alexander Solzhenitsyns saying stuff before people would start paying attention. Or maybe we just need crazy marketing or something. I don't know. Like the big problem here is that the horrible people have no problem using marketing techniques like psychological trickery to manipulate people. But all the good people are like, no, I need to speak from my heart to other people's hearts. But like most people's hearts are so wrapped up in nonsense, they're not listening to anything real. They're just listening to what's flashy and nonsense, you know. Jaimie does what academia needs, more bridges between the disciplines to produce results. That's totally important too, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of problems with academia, and one of them is definitely that yeah, the disciplines are kind of like against each other instead of realizing. I mean, I wouldn't even say they don't realize. I think, I don't know. Like physics is math, is chemistry, is English. It's all combined. It all connects with each other. Like just because you're looking at the color green doesn't mean it has nothing to do with the color blue. Like it all blends together. There's all this overlap, and all these people are like trying to divide it up and keep people separate and keep ideas separate. It doesn't make any sense. Do it, Martin, says James. I know that you are American. First, I think you're talking to me, but my name is actually Jaimie. I know usually the real name is James, but my actual birth name is Jaimie, with 2 eyes even. 2 eyes, just like in my head. But anyway, I'm also not American. I'm Canadian, although I have not been in North America, Canada, or the United States for like a decade. But okay, where are we going? Then let me tell you are actually a boar from South Africa. If I change your accent, you are a typical individualist boar from the High Veld, my brother. Oh man, I can't remember how to do a South African accent now. Man, I used to hang out with some South Africans, and when I hung out with them, I could do their accent pretty well. Now I don't remember what it sounds like. I'll have to go watch District 9 again. District 9? I think that's the one. Jaimie, update your YouTube app to fix live stream screen issue. Oh, if it still doesn't work, uninstall the app and reinstall it. Yeah, maybe I'll have to do that. I think it auto updates. I don't know. But yeah, I might have to uninstall and reinstall it. But today it looks like it's working. So I kind of feel like they're changing the way it works every other week. I don't know. Right now it's working fine, right? I think, right? Looks all right from this end anyway. Wizard of the North says, I do think 30 degrees is too steep. NASCAR tracks are banked at 30 degrees, and those cars are pretty fast. They're going on a way wider curve, though. You know what? There is no debate here. The debate will be settled when I run on the damn track. That's because I'm already doing it at 30 degrees. It's already set. I've already started the track. I'm building it. I'm doing it. My brain is telling me that 30 degrees is going to be good. So, yeah, I will get video of when I do it, and then we will see. And maybe I will fall on my face. Or maybe I'll run around screaming like a maniac, having a super enjoyable time. I'm hoping for the latter, but we'll see. Wendy says, Jaimie, have you asked if others in your area have problems with their mango production? It might have been too dry. I wouldn't give up on your ancient trees easily. They were so old and producing. Yeah, it's been several years since my mango trees produced a lot of mangoes. And like they produced them for 1 year, and even the couple years before that, they didn't make much either. So, and my soil is also terrible. So, I'll visit other people and they're like, oh, I have billions of mangoes. And it's because they have the soil that's on that island, which is way better than my soil. Or they're on that island, which is like, has really, really good soil. Or they're on the mainland over there, which also has really good soil. So yeah, this island is like solid clay, although I have been improving it a lot. So I'm definitely getting more growing here than I did have before, And I just feel there's a large difference between, oh, okay, this is about to track again. I feel like there's a large difference between 30 degrees and 15. Your house might be a slightly smaller radius, but not enough to justify 30 degrees. I don't know, I could be wrong. I hope 30 degrees works for you. I'd hate to see you have to take it all down and rebuild it. Okay, Wendy says 30 degrees makes a nice angle to lay back on pillows and read. That's true. Even if I can't run on the track, this is about that much. Going to be at 30 degrees. I can, sit there, lean up, put the movie screen up on the second floor. We can have movie night upstairs. But I am pretty confident 30 degrees, a 30-degree banked track is going to be amazing. I would even stake honor on it. Not honor like I'm going to lie, but the other kind of honor. I would stake. I'm not going to say I'm going to stake money on it, but yeah, I'm pretty confident that a 30-degree banked track on the second floor is going to be good. I think if anything goes wrong, it won't be because of the bank track. If anything goes wrong, it'll be because some section had weak wood and I put my foot right through it, because it's going to be a lot of force. Because if I'm running that tight of a curve full speed or close to full speed, man, that's going to be a lot of pressure. But I am using pretty strong wood. It should be good. But yeah, I'm very confident that a 30-degree bank is not going to be too much. Especially since, when I used to run track, even on like standard indoor tracks, often, like if I was running sprints, the bank was not really enough, like the bank on indoor tracks is kind of made for the average speed, because you can't change the bank. Maybe on some tracks somewhere you can, but all the tracks I've been on, the bank was set and that was it. So they have to set it at an angle where you could run a 10-kilometer race or you could run a 200-meter sprint. And there's two vastly different speeds. But the bank is just kind of somewhere in between. But like if you're running full speed, you can run a pretty steep bank. And 30 degrees, I don't think I need to run full speed. I think even just a moderate pace. Now, last week I said this. I did run track. I'm a pretty good runner. So my moderate pace is probably like most people's fast pace. Like for me, a 12-second 100 meters is kind of like it's a good run, but it's not a flat out sprint or anything. Anyway, all right. Wizard of the North. There's two types of people in this world. Oh, where are we talking? What were we talking about? Anyway. Givers and takers, left and right, straight and gay, up and down, honest and liars. Okay, Medusa Killer X. Oh man, that's a superhero right there. Hey Jaimie, what has been your favorite project to work on? I don't know, man. What has been my favorite project to work on? A lot of things. Well, I've really been enjoying working on these little wind-up fans, just because it's like a fun little engineering thing to work on, and I can like do it between when I'm doing other things. Draw some parts in the computer and set it to 3D print for like however long, then go work on other things and come back and get the next part ready to go. That kind of stuff is really fun. But then like building a giant robot, that was super fun. And like building boats, like a lot of the things like the giant robot and the boats, they're also like really difficult, but that also makes it really fulfilling too. But like, I don't know, it depends what kind of your favorite project to work on. Man, I don't even know. There's so many projects I love to work on. Like I would say I loved working on this house. I spent a year building this house. Like obviously I'm still doing things, but just the main house. I spent a year working on the main house, the floor, the shell, to make an inside part that's not where I'm not getting rained on, except for those drips over there, whatever. It was grueling, just agonizingly painful some days to try to get the quota that I set for myself done every freaking day, no matter how hard it was. It was grueling, but that also is part of what made it amazing. I don't know, a lot of projects. I'm probably going to be thinking about this, and like 3 hours from now, something's going to pop in my head and be like, oh, that was so fun to work on. But when I was working in the toy industry, making the prototypes for the robot toys, so fun, until I had to talk to like the crazy over ego maniacs and but like the engineering things to deal with. Oh, so fun. Favorite project to work on? Yeah, I don't know. So many different things. Ken says happiness is a vague and unrealizable goal. I wouldn't say it's unrealizable. I think it's a vague goal. Sure, happiness. Yeah, but it's totally realizable. I'm generally happy. Like even when things are going horribly poorly, things has to be going really, really, really bad for me to get to a point where I'm like, yeah, I'm not even happy at this moment. But most of the time, even when things are really difficult and a bunch of stuff goes wrong that day, I'm still generally happy. Even if I'm just like, crap for the day, I'm like, yeah, but I'm gonna bounce back and it'll be good. So overall, I'd say I'm happy. There are definitely things missing in my life, but Sarah Big Eye. Oh, I'm saying this wrong. Big A, Sarah Big A. Are you gay, or is that like I'm just gonna let it go. Sarah, I'm just gonna call you Sarah. If you were ruler of your own country, what would be the first law you would introduce? I think probably the thing I would focus on would be to limit the power of the rulers, like severely limit it. So I would get rid of authoritarianism. So I would make taxes voluntary, and basically make everything voluntary, and make it so I, as the ruler, have to convince people that I am worth their investment, that I am worth their effort. So I basically have to be like, okay, look, we have this country, I'm the ruler of it, but I'm not going to rule by any sort of authoritarian means. I am here to serve you, which is what it should be. That's what it should be. The ruler should be there to serve the people. That's the whole point, in my opinion. It's not what people are doing today. Now people are ruling and be like, I get to control you. No, a ruler should be like, okay, look, we're here. I'm here to serve you. Let's figure out what the best thing is that we can do to make our country better, to make our lives better for ourselves, and particularly for our children, and just give our country a good future, and let's work together to make that happen. And I feel like if leaders do not automatically get anything, and if they have no authority to force their rule on anyone, and they are required to be convincing and then to follow through, and the second that people don't like them, they just get tossed out, I think then you would have a very different situation than what we have today. And that's what I would do. I would take all the authority away from the leadership and just say, you know what, you people don't have to listen to me. You don't have to do anything I say. However, I want to work with you and figure out the best way to make things happen. So yeah, get rid of authority. Yeah, like one of the really frustrating things about the way things are happening today is like police officers in North America anyway, they're just authoritarians. Like in my opinion, a police officer should be helping everyone they can help. Like if a police officer is driving down the street, sees someone walking, they should stop and be like, hey, where are you going? You want to ride? I'm not going to any emergencies right now. You can hop in the back. I can take you where you're going, drop you off. You got to give people rides, help people with stuff. You see someone moving their couch, pull up in your police car. Hey, sir or ma'am, I'm your servant. Your taxes pay me for my time. I'm here to help you. That's what police officers should be. Not this coming up to people and just like harassing the crap out of them. It's all backwards, Like the government needs to serve the people, not the people serving the government. It's completely backwards. Let's see. Jaimie, maybe you'll like the taste of joke. This is the salt thing again. Am I missing something? Do I need to start making salt? I do make salt sometimes. Actually, that bag of salt I just showed you, I got that about a week ago. But a week before that, I ran out of salt and I was just using salt water. Like I would cook. Like I had a container of salt water here on the counter, And if I was cooking something with water in it, I'd use partly salt water, to get the right amount of salt. Or if I needed to salt something, I'd boil some of it and just get the salt out. It's not hard to do or anything. Anyway, Jaimie, maybe you'll like the taste of Jaimie made salt better than that bag salt from who knows where. That's true. I do like the salt that I make. And I sometimes just make it myself, depending on what's going on, how busy I am and whatever. Ken says we need to realize the broken folks can't be fixed externally. They need to be shunned. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of things that have to happen to yeah, like the wokesters. Okay, here's how you fix a lot of those problems. You make it so people are responsible for themselves. And part of the problem, this is a communist problem. Like whenever you start getting a society that goes really far left and has all these safety nets for people and all this welfare stuff and basically all these social systems to catch people, like I do understand the utility in that. Like there's value in helping people who are having difficulty. However, I think there needs to be some kind of way to see the people who are helping you. I think it's actually better to not have the government helping people. It's better to have neighbors helping each other, because then you actually have to appreciate it. Because if your neighbor comes over and says, I saw you're having a hard time, here's dinner today. If the person then says, F you, get out of here, they're not going to get any more free meals, right? But with government handouts, they can go up and get their welfare check. Give me my welfare check, thank you. It doesn't matter. They're getting it anyway, right? What was the question? Yeah, so if people are responsible for themselves more, then what they do matters and people's behavior starts changing to be better. This is one of the things that I love about living in nature. Like when you live in the wilderness in a natural environment, you can't just act like an idiot, because you end up getting like bitten by a snake or something, or some bear will maul you to death, or whatever. Wherever you live, there's always something dangerous. Maybe a tree will fall on your head because you did something dumb, or like there are all these things where you will get feedback from doing stupid things. Like if you burn all your firewood and don't cut anymore, well, now you freeze. Your life is your responsibility, and this is one of the problems that comes with like a more communist socialist system, is that people aren't responsible for themselves anymore. So who cares? You can act as stupid as you want. It doesn't matter. Oh, let's see. The problem with today's science is that is directly or indirectly funded by corporations, and if something could not be immediately commercialized, it will not get any funding. Yeah, I was talking about this a couple weeks ago, about how the whole science, the whole world of science today is just ruined. It's all corrupted by people exerting their authority over it. Yeah, like you're saying, it's all funded, and if people can't get the funding, they can't do the cool stuff, and they're only getting the funding from corrupt people usually. Ken says South Africa is a combo of Aussie and German. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting accent, and I can totally do it. If I hear it for a minute, I can do it. But hi from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA, Francis. Hello, Francis. I hope you're doing good. Oh no, do it says TIA. What is TIA? Oh wait, that is accurate. Is that what it is? I don't know. TIA. I never know acronyms. Wendy says Central Coast of California and coastal South Africa are almost the same climate. California is covered with plains from South Africa. Oh, because they disconnected? Is that right? Ken J, HARP is messing up growing conditions worldwide. I don't know what HARP is, but I'll believe it. Well, maybe I shouldn't say I believe it, but I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of things messed up. Wizard of the North said, yeah, sorry, I'll shut up about the track now. Wizard of the North, you do not need to shut up about it. You can say as much as you want. No offense intended. Yeah, no offense taken. Don't worry. But yes, we will find out when I do that first run around the track. I mean, you may be right. I may fall flat on my face or like. I think it's going to be good, but we will see. Oh, I feel like we should put some skin on the game. I bet you 10,000 nothings that the track's going to be good. Ooh, is that a bet? I think it's a bet. 10,000 nothings are on the line. Ooh. Geoengineering sucks, Ken says. Well, I don't think necessarily geoengineering sucks, just the general concept. I'm geoengineering. Every time I go dig some dirt and move it around, stop some erosion. But yes, you can totally screw it up. Point a projector at a screen in the middle, suspended, where you can watch while laying on the track. Yes, that is exactly what I was talking about. Right now, I have a projector attached to one of the columns going up, and we hang the projector on a string that goes from one of the posts in the middle of the house over to one of the columns. So it's just like, yeah, it's really good. But yeah, this is laying against the 30-degree track. That'd be good, except the railing's going to be in the way. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Do It Martin says, I read books, mostly military history and philosophy. I also build and work with my 2 hands. You got 2 hands too? Awesome, man. Check it out. Perhaps it is unfair, but do not trust people who are purely intellectual. I would totally agree with that. Yeah, I totally agree with that. What I've learned is that even people who at one point did things, if they spend too much time talking about it and not doing the thing, they start having really bad advice, giving out bad information. So I would never want to become one of those people who just goes around giving lectures. And I've had that opportunity in the past. I've been asked, would you go on a lecture tour? Would you, I was asked to go to like one of these TED Talk kind of things a couple times and a few things like that. And I have done like, talks at middle schools a few times and stuff like that, just like when I was living in Vermont. And the guy was like, man, that was really good. You were a little shaky on the first class, but by the third class, man, that was excellent. You could really make a living, giving these talks to schools and to other audiences and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I feel like if I were to do that, first, I wouldn't want to do that. Like I like doing the stuff, not just talking about it. But I would also feel like if I went and just started talking about things, within a few months, nothing I said would really matter anymore, because I would be too disconnected from the actual doing. So I kind of like how I do this now, where most of the time I'm doing stuff, and then I drop what I'm doing and come yabber blab at some tablet for a little bit every week. But yeah, people are purely intellectual. They're missing so much. There's so much you can't get from a book. Champ says, Jaimie, when you design your giant robot, you can use 3D printed parts for mold and smelt aluminum and cast the parts in aluminum. That is true, I could. First, what I'm going to do though with my 3D printer is I want to make a really good prototype. So next time I build a giant robot, I want to have like a really, really good prototype made that's like really good, because it's much easier to figure out all the engineering details on a smaller model than it is on a big thing. Okay, people, let's like this video. Oh, contentment isn't happiness. Well, it depends what you're happy with. Oh, this is one of those discussions where it's like you can't get anywhere. Happy is completely artificial in my estimation. Sounds like Adam Kokesh voluntarism. I don't know who Adam Kokesh is, but sounds good. Yes, I think voluntarism is excellent. And I think leadership should be continually earned. Like people should be following someone that they respect, not someone who has authority over them. And that leader should have to constantly maintain that respect by always being honest, always, following through with things, blah, blah, blah. Maxson says, hey, Jaimie, been a few years since I've tuned into your channel. I'm curious, when was the last time you've left your island and ventured out into whatever large city you're closest to? Large city? I haven't been to a large city in a long time. Like there's a pretty small town, like I park my boat and I just walk. Like I can walk across the town and back several times pretty easily. But that large city, the last time I was in a large city was probably when I did the immigration stuff to get residency here, went to Panama City. I think that was it. That was a while ago. That was like, I don't know, 8 years ago or something. I don't know how many. It was many years ago. I have not been in a major city in quite some time. And I like that. I don't like being in major cities. It's just never been my thing. And I've spent a lot of time in Boston and New York, Toronto. Like I've spent in LA. I was in LA for a little while. Los Angeles, California. I've spent time in major cities. When I lived in England, I was in a major city for 4 months. Yeah, I've never really enjoyed being in major cities. Missed the question mark, Maxon. Oh, yeah. Whatever large city I'm closest to, I don't even know. I think the largest city I'm closest to, or the closest city to me that I would call a large city is probably David, unless you're Spanish, then it's David. But I haven't been there anytime recently. Thanks, Jaimie. You're very considerate for listening to crazy ideas. You, sir, are the salt of the earth. Well, thanks, man. I will think about the salt. Oh, I do make salt for myself, but I don't know. If someone really wants some salt, I can probably make you some salt, but I don't even know how I'd ship it out of here, Thrills and highs don't last forever. It creates dopamine and serotonin, which equates to corresponding lows. I'd rather stay more in the middle, content. Yeah. Yeah. I can maintain a pretty positive general frame of mind over long periods of time in the right circumstances, I don't know. Generally speaking, I'm pretty happy as long as I'm getting enough exercise. This is gonna sound stupid, but I've been happiest when I've had a girlfriend that I get along with. Those have been the happiest times of my life. When it was just easy to be happy. That was really cool. But I haven't had that in a while. That seems to have become harder and harder to find for whatever reason. Let's see. What is the political situation in Panama? Does it affect you much? Here in Canada, it seems that far woke left has taken over every aspect of our government. Yeah, I am kind of happy to not be in Canada. In Panama, it's like the government just does a lot less. I feel like in Canada, in the US, the governments, and Europe, England, I've heard this in Australia too, and a bunch of other places, but the governments are just everywhere all the time, and you sneeze at the right time, and they're like, "Oh, we got you on camera. We're gonna fine you." And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. But in Panama, the government just doesn't do as much. Like they've way fewer police. I don't see as many police around. The government just doesn't do as much. And I should also say, when I lived in North America and I saw police, I was always like, crap. Just don't come over to me. Oh God, they're coming over. Now what do you want? And police were such a pain to deal with. One time I went and asked a cop for directions. He was parked at a gas station. I pull in. I'm like, "Hey, I'm looking for this address. I'm trying to get to this guy's house." And he's like, "License and registration." And I'm just like, wait, what do you mean? I'm just asking you for directions. License and registration. And I'm like, so really? Yeah, it's just, but here, whenever I see police, I always say hi to them. I always wave, and they're always like, hey, how's it going? And there's the Navy that has this boat that's always, not always, but I see them driving past. I always wave at them. Occasionally, I mean, it's like a couple times they've stopped at my boat and asked me about, the pedaling and the solar power and stuff. And I've never had a situation dealing with the police in Panama where I felt like they were being abusive. Like where they were like, I have power and authority over you. You do what I say. They've always been friendly. Now maybe that's partly that might partly be my personality, because if I decide that you're friendly, it can be hard to not be friendly to me. But yeah, it's just there've been plenty of times where I've turned around and there's a cop there and I'm like, oh, and they're just like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, okay, nothing, right? Nothing, yeah. Not saying it's perfect or anything. I'm sure that people have had problems with the cops here too. Wizard of the North, same as the States, mate. Oh, totally, yeah. We have protesters who support terrorism, and the police don't do anything about it. Well, they might arrest the counter-protesters. Yeah, it's crazy what's going on. If somebody cannot hunt and cannot gut a fish, I will never fully trust. Yeah, I can understand that. English is not my first language. If you have no power over your surroundings, I cannot trust you to visit my family. Totally respect, man. I totally respect that. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Don't take my money to fix those that would have fallen through the cracks. I grew up in the cracks. I made myself better by working very hard. That's a good point. That gets a lot of criticism. Like if you say that about welfare, you don't give people too much because it makes it so they don't try. It's total fact. It's totally how it works. But on the other hand, it's really easy to look at that and say, yeah, but you're being cruel. So it's like, oh man. Yeah, people need to be responsible for themselves. Oh, TIA is This Is Africa. Oh, God, I hate those phrases. Yeah. Do it, Martins. Your English is great. No problem understanding you. Yeah, your English is great. It's not your first language. Your English is really good. He's going to be like, yeah, I use a translator. No. John Smith says, Jaimie, if you went for a hike in the woods, would you be more fearful? More fearful if you encountered a lone woman or a bear? Neither. I wouldn't be afraid of either. Probably a bear. Now, if I was at home and a woman came into my home, I may be concerned. Because I've mentioned this before. I've been in a room with a woman alone who basically told me that I had to stay overnight with her or she would accuse me of rape. And I just got the hell out of there. But that's like, oh, what a screwed up thing, Anyway, yeah, I know that was probably just a joke question and very silly, but yeah. Basically, if I'm walking around in the woods, I've got some way to kill things on me at all times. My favorite thing was this sword I made. I forged it myself. It was like that long, and the handle and the scabbard looked the same. So you put it in, it just looked like a fancy stick. And I would always wear it on my back. And this is when I was in Vermont, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I could take a bear with this thing if I needed to. I mean, I would have to also be outsmarting the bear. I'm not ignorant to what a bear is. But I feel like with that thing, I could defend myself. Although if you're fighting a bear, the best thing might just be a bludgeon, like a mace, so you can hit it on the skull. Because it's going to come at you with its face. like, yeah, the claws, but you just gotta get back, and its face is gonna bite you. But if you can crack it right on the skull, crush its brain. Why am I talking about killing things? Okay, Mr. Wizard of the North, here's the bet. If the track is too steep, I get to tell you, I told you so. You're going to tell me I told you so. Okay. If the track is perfect, you get to tell me the same. You're on, Mr. Man. All right, this is the I told you so bet for the track on the second floor. I'm building it at 30 degrees, and I think it's going to be good. Mr. Wizard of the North thinks it's too steep, and whoever wins this bet gets to I told you so the other one. Well, I better get my running legs ready to go. All right, it's still going to be a little bit of time before I finish it because I need to spackle the wall before I finish the track. And then I need some good sunny days to cut the rest of the strips of wood. Well, yes. I told you so, bet. You got it. Oh, man. Ken says, I volunteer a lot to help better our environment, like pick up trash, help the elderly, community garden. Well, I mean, really, you don't have to call the elderly trash. Like if you're picking up the elderly. I know that's not what you meant. Picking up. Oh, my brain's getting silly. Like pick up trash, help the elderly. Oh, there's an old person here. Let's throw him in the garbage. Okay. Let's move on here. Ken says, Jaimie, you are awesome. Well, thanks, man. Thank you for doing this. I get isolated in reality and my mind, and listening to you and getting feedback is amazing. Wow, excellent. I'm glad I can be useful in some way. That's great. I am most content when I can work with the woman I'm with. That is awesome. That is something I haven't had in a while. Yeah, when you have a woman that you're connected well with and it's going well, that's like the best thing in the world. Like everything is better. Of course, when you're with the wrong woman, everything is worse. So, you gotta be careful what women you let into your life. Like my woman is at my side, and we are working hard to improve life for us and those around us. Volunteerism. That's amazing, man. I'm so jealous. I'm so jelly. That's super cool, man. Man, don't take that for granted. That is a beautiful thing. Super awesome. Oh, Captain Skellebones, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you today yet. Dude, I've been going on for like 2.5 hours here. Okay, the scariest thing someone could say is we are from the government. That is pretty, yeah, we are from the government. Ugh. Dana says, in dealing with police, didn't you have an issue with a few looking for bribes when you had the sailboat masts visible? That was not the police. That was some little scumbags who were going around to people, they had no authority or anything. They were just trying to shake people down with their ignorance. They just come by and say, we're from the make up some nonsense that didn't make it. I mean, they weren't even real things. There was one guy. Okay, this is what happened. Oh, this is a stupid story. But a few years ago, some guy, like a boat full of people show up. There were 4 of them. One guy had an ID that identified him as something to do with one of the environmental agencies. I don't remember what it was. But the other 3 people had no IDs. Now, if this ever happens again, I will not let them on my land. I will say, you go back, you go away. But I was like, all right, well, let's see what this is and get it over with. Now, the only guy who had an ID, he just kind of like wandered off and did something else. And then the other people tried to shake me down for bribes, basically. They're like, oh, you need a permit for this. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have any of that. Oh, you need a permit for that. They're like, you need a permit for your dock. And I'm like, no, it's a floating dock. It's not a permanent dock. It's not even attached. And I don't need anything for that. And people don't get those around here anyway. So like, but it doesn't matter. Oh, you need a permit for this. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And they just kept going on and on. And I presume what happens a lot of the time is they go and do this to people, and people think, oh, I better just give them money and make them go away. So they get these bribes. And I've talked to other stupid people who've told me you have to give them money or they don't go away. And I'm like, no, you do not give them money. If you give them money, they will go away right then, but they're coming back. They've never come back to my house because they didn't get anything. So these guys just go around anytime they get any time they get money from a place, they put it on their schedule. Let's go to them once a month and shake them down. Anyway, it was just some corrupt schmucks who had no positions or whatever. Yeah. And the only guy who had an ID that identified him as anything to do with the government, he didn't say any of the stuff. He was just like kind of bringing his friends. These guys were just running a shiesty side hustle. Anyway, authority is terrifying. We don't need no stinking authorities. Totally, yeah. I think that was government officials. Jaimie Mansell, bear slayer. I did fight a bear one time, but he ran away right away, which was fine with me. I was also not wearing clothes. I did have a shotgun and a hat. I had a shotgun and a hat and nothing else. And yeah, I went and fought a bear, but he ran away. It was great. It's great he went away. I'm happy with him running away. In dealing with police, didn't you? Oh, yeah. Captain Skullbones, can't say that YouTube is flagging your comment. Oh, what is Captain Skullbones? Oh, scariest thing someone can say is we are from the government. Did that get flagged? There must be another comment that got flagged. I don't know. Wearing his chainmail and long sword. I did often wear my chainmail and long sword. When I was in Vermont, I wore heavy clothing a lot more than I do here because here it's hotter. But when I lived in the north, all winter, most of the winter, I would wear like a chainmail vest, wear like chains on my wrists and on my ankles, and just that's just how I walked around like that all the time, like up and down the mountain doing stuff. Kept me warm because my body had to work harder and kept me in shape, you know. If I ever had to do something full strength, I would take the stuff off so I could, you know, blah, blah, blah. A human with a pickaxe can split a boulder open. A bear is just a poor animal. Yeah, if you're, I don't know, a bear isn't just a poor animal. A bear can freaking kill you. I would not kill a wild animal unless I was either eating it or it was attacking me. I wouldn't just go kill a wild animal. You can tell by somebody's handshake if they can handle problems. I don't know. I think it depends on the situation. Sometimes, some people are just not into handshakes. I don't like to shake people's hands. When I do shake people's hands, they usually look at me and say, whoa, you trying to crush me there or something? And I'm just like, oh, sorry. But I also just don't generally like to shake hands. And I'm not trying to crush people's hands. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's just most of the stuff I do with my hands it takes a lot of strength. So if I squeeze someone's hand, I guess I do too much power. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of people are just not into handshaking. Captain Skeleton Bones. Yeah, but boulders don't fight back. Yeah. I am cooking a hearty hamburger. Oh, help for dinner while listening. Good stuff. Oh, man, tasty food. Fights bears wearing nothing but his chainmail. Bro is playing a real-life survival game like Rust or Primitier, chainmail clothes, swords, building machines. Yeah. I always think it's funny when people compare this lifestyle to video games. And I totally get it because, like, you know, I kind of think of it as like playing Warcraft or StarCraft, where it's like, okay, this is my command center, then I got my lumber mill, and then I could do more stuff, and I create a vehicle, and, you know, it's just like playing one of those games. But those games are based on real life. like real life came first. But like most people don't live real life. They're just, yeah, any exciting stuff they do is in a video game. My husband is home from work and his Sunday music jam band practice. Oh, that sounds cool. And my son has put a chicken, potatoes, and corn in the oven. Ooh, life is good. Have a good week, everyone. Oh, have a good dinner. That sounds amazing. Oh, that's great. My daughter cooked lunch today. Man, it was delicious. And she cooked it on the fire. She made the fire and everything. I am strong, but I am super gentle with handshakes, and everybody is trying to crush my hand to display power. It's super immature. Oh yeah, I hate that. Like when someone tries to crush your hand, I don't try to crush people's hand if I do a handshake. Usually I just don't want to shake people's hand because one, I don't want to touch people. I don't know what they've been doing with their fingers and their hands, wiping their butts with paper but then also, yeah, it's like half the time someone is just like, whoa, your handshake's crushing me. Or the person's like, I'm going to crush you with my handshake. And I'm just like, I just don't care. I want to do things, not shake people's hands. Have a great week, Jaimie, everyone. Vasco Zuzus, how's it going, man? I hope you have a good week too. All right. Be safe, everyone. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here. This is my longest live I've ever done. I thought it was going to be over at an hour when people ran out of things to say, but then you guys are all like, yo, let's be interesting now. So I'm going to get out of here in a minute. I'm not sure what's worse, when somebody crushes my hand or when they give me a completely limp hand to shake. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not into handshakes. It's funny. All right, I'm getting out of here. I don't know what I'm going to go do some stuff. Everyone have an excellent whatever you've got. Thanks for the stream, Jaimie. You're very welcome, Wizard of the North. And I am going to remember this I told you so bet. We will see. Oh, the track. All right, I'm getting out of here.